Oh my god, does that mean he's gonna get his arm? His arm's gonna return. Hi my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. Today we're reacting to episode 62 of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And oh boy, last episode I was a wreck and I feel like I'm going to be one until the series is over. I just couldn't keep it together. I was so emotional. I don't know how anyone could watch that episode and not cry. I couldn't keep it together. The idea of losing Scar, the idea of losing Hohenheim, oh, I couldn't. And the way that the boys were holding their father up when he felt like he was weakening and he couldn't keep it together. It means so much for Hohenheim, and that smile on his face and that recognition that his boys are behind him, that they are holding him up because they have faith in him and they recognize his strength and capabilities, and that gives him the motivation to keep going. And oh, I'm gonna cry again thinking about it because it was just so powerful. It's all Hohenheim has wanted. For someone like Hohenheim, who found it hard to bond with his sons because he thought touching them would make them monsters, that he would somehow corrupt them. So to have them willingly reach out to touch him is so powerful. It's so moving because he was so scared of being this negative impact, that he was going to hurt them somehow, that he just refrained from it. But knowing that they're not afraid of him, that they don't see him as a monster, they know the truth, they know everything about him, and they still have his back. They still touch him in a way that he's been scared to touch them. It's just such a phenomenal full circle moment that we get to have that moment of father and sons bonding together, that they have a moment of connection that Hohenheim's always wanted to have with his boys. But yeah, this has got very, very intense. I feel like there is going to be a consequence to the father devouring truth. I feel like in this world, because truth is all. Truth is what they know as God. Truth is you. Truth is me. So, what that means to me is that truth is the universe itself, but not just the universe, everything that encapsulates it. So, humanity, the bugs, the insects. And it makes me think back to what Azumi was teaching the boys when she put them on that island, that the fundamentals of alchemy is one is all is one. And that's what the boys came to understand, is that they are just a part of this grand universe, that everyone in this universe balances each other because it's the laws of nature, the cycle of life and death, that there has to be rules in order for there to be balance. And the process of alchemy is understanding those laws and those rules, which is why Ed and Al were punished for the human transmutation, because it's an attempt to break that law, those rules that are set in place for a reason. It's to play God. And that's why any alchemist that believes themselves above the laws of nature, of life and death, are punished for it. But it's not an unfair punishment like I initially thought. Yes, it's ironic, but when you think about it, this punishment is, yes, I'm going to take something from you, but truth still performs equivalent exchange. They take something from them as a punishment, but in return gives them information that's equivalent to what they took from them. So the more they take, the more information they get. The less taken, the less information, because I did go back to kind of look at episode 2, and Ed says, I want to see it again. And Truth says, no, you not paid enough of a toll. And he'd already taken his leg at that point. So that toll only granted him access to so much information. So Truth is painfully ironic in what it takes from you as a punishment for trying to break the balance of the universe. But it still is fair in that it tells you, yeah, you can't break these rules, and this is why you can't break these rules. But Truth is also aware that it needs to be fair too, that it can't just punish, it has to give something in return as well. We all have to sacrifice something to gain something, and that's what equivalent exchange at its very core is. It's balance. Truth is the gatekeeper of balance in this world. Truth is ensuring that the world stays on its current course, that the structure and the cycle isn't disrupted, isn't broken, and that's why I think there's going to have to be a consequence because the father is chaos. The father has tried to upset this balance by sacrificing humanity, has tried to make himself a god in devouring God. It's trying to play God. So I think there has to be some consequences to that. I think there's going to be some condemnation because I can't see truth just allowing this all to play out. So I feel like truth is going to have to come back into play. I don't think truth will intervene insofar as truth is quite neutral. I think the only way truth would intervene is if a sacrifice is made to bring them back into the gateway where truth resides, because truth doesn't leave that liminal space. So I think in order for truth to become involved, a sacrifice has to be made of equivalent value for the doorway to be opened once more and them to return to it. That there has to be an equivalent exchange because they're not going to perform human transmutation, but I think equivalent exchange may allow them to speak with truth and have the opportunity for Al to get his body back again. But as to what this equivalent exchange would be, I'm not entirely sure. Like, what would be so valuable that truth would see it as something worth exchanging the father for, that maybe they get involved to punish the father because what they're being offered is a fair exchange, it's a fair balance. Because I'm trying to make this make sense in that the father is chaos, is trying to upset the balance and the rules of the world around them, has divested himself of the parts that would make him human, like the sins, because sins aren't all inherently evil. There are positive aspects to these sins. So we had that mentioned by Greed, that the biggest issue was the condemnation of sins as something only negative, that these sins are also what make us human, and in divesting ourselves of them, we become nothing more than a shell. We're hollow. We lose that human connection and part of ourselves. And I think that in itself upsets the balance because if truth is one and all, if truth is you and me and the universe and is humanity and everything within the universe, then surely divesting yourself of what makes you a human in order to weaponize that and use it to sacrifice humanity to gain power is upsetting the balance. And I think could see truth intervene, not because they want to, but because maybe the doorway is opened through equivalent exchange and the father and truth get to speak with one another, because I still think there is a connection because they look alike. So I don't know if the father is something that was cast off from truth, that they're from the same entity, but they look alike with like that same grin, the way in which their bodies are formulated. They have to be like from the same entity. And it could be solely that it's almost like a yin yang situation. So a lot of duality happens with the show. So like you have the West and you have the East, and we have alchemy and alchemy. We have the mask that Lanfan and her grandpa wears that have the yin yang symbols on, so they balance each other. So if the father is chaos, then truth is balance, which means they must then be from the same entity. And likewise, we have Hohenheim, who is bringing alchemy, and the father who brought alchemy to the West. So they counter and balance one another, that without one, the whole system is disrupted. And again, I think we are going to see truth again because we have to, because there's this whole core aspect of the story of getting their bodies back. But as to how they open that doorway again, I think Ed's going to have to do equivalent exchange. He's not going to do human transmutation because that's going to go against everything that he's learnt. That's going to go against his entire journey. He knows that what's dead is dead. It can't be brought back, that he can't play God. He was punished for it. He has to accept this cycle of life and death. And I think that's what's going to happen, is that there's going to be an equivalent exchange. They're going to open the doorway and he's going to be able to speak with truth once more. And that something he sacrifices may help bring Al's body back into the world, because I think that has to be it. It's been hinged on this idea of sacrifice for a while, and this idea of Ed feeling guilt for dragging Al into this, for Al losing his body, and this desire to bring it back at any cost. It doesn't matter what it costs him, he will do it for his baby brother. So I think he's going to have to sacrifice something in an equivalent exchange to speak with truth. But I think the father's not going to be immune from that, because again, I think the father and truth are connected somehow, that if one is chaos and one is balance, in order to return the universe back to what it was, the father needs to be removed from the picture, because he's throwing it all off base. His disrespect towards humanity, his want to eradicate them whilst also wanting to become material, wanting to become them, goes against the very order of the universe in itself. It's going against what his core being is too, because he's not human, he's not material, but in yearning for it, he's willing to do whatever it takes, even if that means destroying humanity in the process. And that's going against the universal laws that have been put in place, that, you know, you can't gain something without giving something, that you can't play God, which is what the father's trying to do, is play God. You can't bring back that which is dead, because the human soul is so one of a kind that there is no way of replicating it. That you can't offer something for the return of a soul, because there's nothing in the world, in the universe, that would be equivalent to how priceless the soul actually is. Which is why human transmutation is punished, because it's not a fair exchange. What they're offering in exchange for the return of their mother's soul isn't enough. It's not a price that can ever be matched, because it's priceless, which is why they're punished in these ironic ways. It's turning a mirror on themselves of, you thought that you could play God, you thought you were above the rules of this universe, you thought you knew better. And I'm going to show you that you're not, and I'm going to bring you down to earth, and I'm going to humble you, but I'm also not unkind, and because of what you've paid, I'm going to give you something that is equivalent of that, aka equivalent exchange. But yes, I just needed to get all those thoughts out there because they've been whirling around in my brain. I don't know if they make a whole lot of sense, but yeah, I think without further ado though, we're going to watch this counterattack on the father, and maybe, probably not this episode, but maybe the next episode, find out what's going on with baby Pride, because it reverted to this little tiny little baby. So my question had been whether this baby could be something that grows and has a chance of living a normal life. Who knows? It would be nice if they get a chance to actually grow and live as a child without being manipulated and used for the father's wants and gains, but we'll see. Without further ado, let's get into episode 62, and I am expecting numerous tears to be shed. Oh, he's making another Philosopher's Stone. Oh, Hohenheim. Oh, we're gonna lose Hohenheim.
こいつ
No.
また賢者の石を作ろうとしていた。人間はおとなしく石になっておればいい。 なんでそんなに下等生物扱いするかね。人間からは賢者の石ができる。賢者の石からはホムンクルスができる。ではホムンクルスからは何ができる？破壊しかもたらさぬ存在を神と呼べるのか？
No.
完
You
全な
can't.
存在になったつもりだろうが、どん詰まりなんだよお前は。
そうかね。ならば人間を生もう。
Human transmutation? Or homunculus? Oh my god. He really is playing God at this point. You can't just make people. It's not how this works. This is just chaos.
不老不死を手に入れた。私は。
It's the king from Xerxes. Oh, it's not her baby, is it?
見ろ、肉体だ。
Oh, this is cruel.
何が起こってる？
That's a very good question. What is happening?
お父様っつう親玉ホムンクルスが暴れてんだよ。こっから先戦えねえやつは置いてけ。怪我してんだろ。
バカ
They are like two of the strongest.
知ったことか。さっさと降りろ。
They're gonna tell you to go fuck yourself.
貴様に指図される。
閣下、中央司令部が
It's gone.
半分吹っ飛びました。
This is just chaos.
一体そいつは。
見た目は普通の人間だ。ただし、10万人分の賢者の石を体内に持っていて、そのエネルギーで神の力とやらを取り込んでいる。錬
Yeah,
金
he's
術師なら
consumed
この弱
truth.
さがわかるだろう。
賢者の石。
He's upsetting the rules of the world.
私の部下が
She won't
上でまだ
abandon
戦って
them.
いる。私は彼らの指揮官なのだ。
我々ブリック星は、ボスが不在でも
No!
ひるまず動くことができる軍隊だということを。
They're gonna ask her to stay behind.
イエロー隊、生きてるか？東門、ブルー隊、応答せよ。
聞けば怪我をしているそうではありませんか。どうぞ、そこで見守っていてください。
Oh.
アレックス。
はい。
It's like act in my stead.
必ず勝て。
言われとも。
奴の賢者の石を私が焼き尽くす。そのためには注意の助けが必要だ。
She's his eyes.
いいから早く行こうぜ。
私の仕事は和歌をお守りすることだ。
泉よ、みんなを頼む。
Oh, I love that he asked Alex to do that.
石橋だ。
Oh, I love Alex.
貴様が倒したのか。
ここに来た時、すでに満身創痍だった。そうでなければ俺も危なかった。
Fucking Ian Fu.
秦国の者と協力し、ブラッドレーに致命傷を与
He paved the way for this.
どうだブラッドレー。私の部下は強かったろう。
Oh, this is gonna be such an emotional episode, isn't it? Oh, May. Oh, I love that she's not injured because May protected her. Ow! He saved her and Xiaomei. Oh, ow. His body's beyond repair.
先生先生先生。ホエンハイムさんがギリギリ守ってくれた。
Oh no! He protected them both, But look at how damaged his face is. Oh, we're gonna lose Hohenheim. He's not gonna allow that to happen to his son. He's gonna sacrifice himself for his boy. It's humanity working together. Because this is what it's always been about. Tenacity, camaraderie. This is something the father will never understand. He's like a god. Oh, I'm so emotional. I don't think the music's helping. The music is making me cry. Oh, Roy's back. God, the strength. May have took his eyes, but you didn't take his will. He'll not be beaten. He will see this future come into fruition. And he doesn't need his eyes for that. Because you'll catch these fists. Go all out. Because he's seen truth, so he doesn't need a transmutation circle anymore. He can just clap his hands and his body is what generates it. At least if his glove gets ripped, he doesn't need to worry anymore. Oh, my heart is bursting with pride at seeing them all come together. This last-ditch attempt to bring down this false god who saw humanity as nothing more than disposable. I don't think Ling's gonna let that happen. Ling's not gonna let that happen. He's not wrong. It's why he holds on to the memories of the friends that he made. It's why he didn't lose them. Because he's seeking human connection. He's seeking friendship and bonding moments that aren't available to Homunculus. It's what the father truly wants, because everything that Greed desires is something that the father has longed for before he was even created. And Greed is the father. He's that side of him. So in seeking connection to fill that emptiness, that hole, is what the father truly wants, is human connection. He's envious of it. He wants people to love him. Oh no! No! Because then Ling will die! Ah! I fell for it. Oh my god, it's a tug of war. Oh, Alex! Oh, I love that she's giving him a run for his money. His arm! They've weakened the Philosopher's Stone. It's reaching its limits. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, truth won't play along. Because truth is neutral. Truth is the gatekeeper of the universe's balance. Somebody consuming him to become God. Yeah, it's not gonna go down well. Truth is fighting to be free. He needs more and more in order to keep truth contained. His arm. Oh. Oh, ow. He's trying so hard to get to him. Oh no, no! He moves anymore.
頼みがある。
It's gonna crack.
兄さんは右腕を犠牲にして僕の魂を戻してくれた。だったら逆も可能なはず。
Oh no! He's gonna sacrifice himself for his brother.
そんなことしたらアルフォース様が。時間がない。お願いだ。
Ow.
こんなこと頼めるの君しかいない。
人間エネルギーエドワードよこせ。
He knows.
何をする気だ。やめろ。おい、あら。
勝てよ、兄さん。
Oh no!
もういいのかい。うん。あとは兄さんを信じる。
He gets his body back, but now he has to trust that Ed can retrieve him, that he won't be stuck here always.
あいつはお前を取り戻しに来るか。
Ed's gonna have to make a sacrifice that's equivalent so that he can get his brother back. Oh my god, does that mean he's gonna get his arm?
犠牲にするか楽しみだ。
His arm's gonna return. Oh my god, it frees his arm. Because that's what he sacrificed for Al's soul. Oh, I'm gonna lose it. You thought he was powerful before. Well.
いけるいけるぞ。いけこの。エドワードエロリックか。
お前が欲してやまなかったもの、本当はこれだ。
エドワード。いけ。鋼の。
His connection, camaraderie, friendship.
こいつらみたいな仲間だったんだな。
俺たちとお前の格の違いってやつを見せてやら。
I am not okay. I'm like broken. I feel like it's gonna be like this the next 2 episodes. I'm leaking like everywhere. Like oh, this isn't okay. Like, oh my god. This is so embarrassing. Whenever I tell people I do like content creation, they're like, oh, what does that entail? I'm like crying on the internet for everyone to see. Oh, I just get so like emotionally invested in these characters and these shows that like the pride that you feel when you see them overcoming adversity and the loss, it genuinely feels like you've lost someone that you're also watching someone overcome and seeing how much he's grown and changed and how far both boys have come. You feel like a proud parent. You genuinely feel like it's a real person. And that's what's so amazing about these stories, is that you feel so connected to them, that like when a character dies, you feel like someone has actually died, because you're so like emotionally invested. When they achieve a goal that they've set out to do, or they overcome the odds, that sense of pride is something that's like unrivaled, unmatched. And I'm just not okay. I'm trying to like gather my thoughts, but yeah, his arm returns because I don't have any tissues, which was really stupid of me, considering I knew I was gonna cry, so I'm having to use my shirt to like wipe my face. I also like just straight up have ruined my makeup, and I still have an episode of Vinland to watch after this, and I know that episode's going to absolutely destroy me as well, so it's not boding well today. It's going to be a very intense crying day today. Oh, but the fact that he gets his arm returned to him because Al makes the sacrifice of his soul, and because his arm was what was paid, it gets returned to him because it's equivalent exchange. It restores his arm, it allows him to free himself so that he doesn't get made into a philosopher's stone. And it's just that brotherly love, it's that willingness to sacrifice a part of yourself for your brother. Ed did it for him, and now he can do it in return. And the way that Truth says to him, you think he's going to come for you, and that confidence of, I know he will. There's no doubt, there's no hesitation. He knows that Ed is going to come for him. The way that Truth speaks with Al is so much nicer than the way he speaks to Ed. But I wonder if it's because this premise of Truth is that truth is one, truth is all. So then technically truth is a reflection of you. So if this truth that is Al's reflection of truth is nice and kind, it's because Al is that way. So it's like a mirror, it's a reflection. Ed's is very like abrasive, but Ed's also abrasive, and he's very like cocky and slightly like condescending, but Ed can be that way too. So it must be that like truth reflects back yourself, because truth is you, truth is God, truth is the universe, truth is everything and everyone. So it would make sense that truth would differ depending on the person he interacts with, because that truth is going to reflect you. It's like a mirror, it's a reflection of who you are. And yet truth is its own entity. But if truth is you, and truth is the universe, and truth is everyone within it, then it makes sense that it's going to mimic the person that it's interacting with. But just I'm not okay, because to get to truth, to get to Al, Ed's gonna have to sacrifice something. He's going to have to sacrifice something of equivalent exchange in order to get his brother back. And I'm just curious as to what that's going to be. I don't know what it could be, because I don't know what would be seen as equivalent to the return of a body. I don't know what would be seen as a fair exchange. If it's something that like he values or takes pride in, that it's a way of humbling himself, that he gives something that he believes is a core part of who he is, a core part of his oh my god. A core part of his identity is him being an alchemist, the full metal alchemist. Can he do that? Can he sacrifice alchemy? Because if he sacrifices his alchemy, that removes his identity as the full metal alchemist. But I don't know if that's something that you could just give, and if it would be equivalent to the return of a body. But I imagine it would have to be, it's like an intense power. So surely it must be equivalent to sacrifice something that you have held onto, that has given you purpose after everything that's happened to you, after the failed human transmutation that has sent you on this journey to find your brother's body, that you only became in order to ensure that you could get your body restored and your brother's body. So it makes sense if, like, the full circle moment is him sacrificing that for what he believes is a more noble purpose. That instead of sacrificing lives, he sacrifices his identity, the core part of himself, in order to get his brother back. Oh my god, that would make so much sense. He's gonna do that, isn't he? It was like a trigger moment when they said, like, oh, he would have to sacrifice a core aspect of himself. And I'm like, what is a core aspect of the fact that everyone was calling him Full Metal? That is like the core part of his identity for the entire show. The whole show is called Fullmetal Alchemist. So to then suddenly sacrifice that at the end would be poetic, would be a way of showing that his brother means so much to him that he's willing to give away this power, this ability to create in order to have him return, that he makes once more this noble sacrifice for the brother that he loves and cares for so dearly. Oh, Ed. He's going to do that. I know he is. Because he's going to make the sacrifice for Al. There's no way he's not going to sacrifice something for him. That's his baby brother, and his baby brother sacrificed his soul in exchange for his arm so that he wouldn't become a philosopher's stone, because he had faith that his brother could turn the tides in this battle. So Ed's going to do the same thing, especially now that truth is, like, coming out of the mouth, because the father can't contain him because he's not a god. That's the thing. He's playing God. He's deluding himself into believing that he's obtained this, like, status of power and authority. But truth is humbling him in a sense by, like, spilling out of the mouth, because without the power of the philosopher's stone, he can't contain him. Truth cannot be contained because truth will triumph over all. That's the point. That's what the father fails to recognize. He can't upset the balance of the universe because the universe is beyond his ability to control. It's beyond his ability to destroy. Humanity has remained tenacious, has remained resilient, have banded together against him. They haven't fallen to the wayside like he had hoped. His transmutation circle failed because Hohenheim was able to get their souls returned. He's seeing a brother's sacrifice for another gives him the edge to win this battle. He's seeing how everyone's rallying together in support of Ed. This, again, I have said numerous and numerous times, the father wants to be loved. He wants to be revered, which is why he calls himself the father. He wants what humanity has without realizing that the reason he can't have it is because he sees humans as inferior. He, at the same time, wants to be human, wants to be material, wants to be loved, wants to have connection, wants a human body, wants to be a father, but he refuses to acknowledge humans as a part of this universe too. He sees them as something disposable, as something that he can weaponize for his own endeavors to become this perfect being, without realizing that perfect beings are impossible. Perfect beings don't exist because humans are fallible. We are prone to failing and to sin, and the father, in divesting himself of his sins, turns himself into a husk. He's not a person because he's divested core aspects of his personality. He's become this mockery of a human, and perfect beings would be boring because they wouldn't have the personality, they wouldn't have the emotions that make humans humans. And I think that's the issue that he's coming across, is that in striving to become a perfect being, in striving to be loved, in striving to be admired and respected, and to become revered by the world, because if we put it in religious terms, the father is God. The father is somebody that is apparent to the masses. It's this reverent figure that is beloved by thousands, millions. So the father believes that he can obtain that status and that would fill the desire within him, but it's not going to fill it. Every aspect of himself has hungered for what humanity has, and he's time and time again failed to understand. The reason why he will never succeed is because he doesn't understand humanity. He wants what humanity has, but in failing to understand humanity, in failing to acknowledge them for what they are, for their strength, for their tenacity, for their courage, for their ability to time and time again fight back against those that seek to destroy them. In failing to understand and recognize that, he fails to understand what it means to be a person, what it means to be human. And in doing so, fails to become what he desires most, what he seeks most. And it's such a shame, in a sense, because if he understood that, if he was willing to embrace all the flaws of what it means to be a person, of the complexity of humanity, if he saw humanity as something equal to himself and didn't strive to become this perfect being, he might actually have found himself becoming more material or becoming more connected with humans, because we saw that greed was able to connect, greed was able to make friends. We saw that gluttony and lust found a sibling relationship, a dynamic that was deeply loved and admired. Pride formed a connection with Mrs. Bradley to the point that she fascinated him and he admired her. We're seeing that they can form relationships, they can form connections, but in divesting himself of that, he's not open to those connections. He is not a human because he doesn't have human aspects anymore. His human aspects were divested from him. They formed connections with each other, they've formed connections with others, and they have banded together. The irony is that they have become more human, more in tune with humans than the father, who desires it most, because everything that the homunculus desire, the father desired it first because they are divested from him. And it's what he says to greed. Your avarice is my avarice. What you desire and hunger for is what I desired and hungered for before you even existed. It's what the father wants. He wants to be what Hohenheim is. He wants to be what humans are. He wants to be connected. He wants a family. He wants to be loved. He wants friends. But the painful irony is in divesting himself of the sins, of the parts that make you human, he leaves himself empty. He's not human, he's a shell. But the sins he cast off were able to find those connections. If he had retained them, he would be more human like, but he's not. He's very, in comparison to when we saw him as the dwarf in the flask, cold, and there's no emotion to him. There's no variance in tone. Even Hohenheim struggled to recognize him because it is so different to the dwarf in the flask. Because the dwarf in the flask had all the parts of himself that made him curious and intrigued by humans, that was also greedy and desired that human connection that Hohenheim and others had, that desired to be something more than this dwarf in the flask homunculus. That's where it all began. But the issue is when they divested themselves of that, they became a shell. They were no longer attuned to the aspects of humanity and what makes a person a person. And greed's recognition of that when he sees Ed and everyone cheering him on, and he realizes that hole, that emptiness, is not going to be filled by power, by being the ruler of the world. It's friendship that he wants, it's connection. And I knew it would be because he obviously still held on to the memories of the friends that he made, the chimeras, and he was so pained when they returned to him. It shows just how deeply he cared for them. Likewise, we saw how Envy was this little worm and just wanted to be a human body again, just wanted to be seen as human, was envious of humans and their ability to connect with each other in a way that he wasn't able to, that they had bodies and he didn't. He was this little worm. He just wanted what they had. He wanted a body of his own. And it's all linked to the father. It's all what the father wants because the father is the originator of all of them. He is the father of them. They are part of him. So in his failure to see humanity as part of the universe, as something to be respected and admired, as part of the balance of the world, because everything in this world is subjected to the cycle of life and death, but is also what helps to balance the universe as a whole. So there's a system in play that sustains life, and in upsetting that system, in disrupting it, he is bringing chaos to the balance. And that's why I think Truth is trying to fight to come out, because Truth is the gatekeeper of that balance. Truth is the recognition that one is all is one, that one cannot be superior to everything within this universe because everything needs to be balanced and fair. And the father's going against that very aspect of the universe. It's going against the cycle of life and death and going against what is fair and balanced. And Truth isn't going to allow themselves to be consumed, isn't going to allow themselves to be used to propagate this ideology, because it's counter to everything that they have been doing, to them gatekeeping the aspect of equivalent exchange and balance and how the universe functions. It's destroying it. So Truth is trying to like get out because it doesn't want to be consumed, and it can't be consumed because it is more powerful than the father will ever be, because the truth is everything, the truth is all. So how can you consume truth and presume to be able to keep it restrained and restricted when everything within the universe is truth? Truth is you, truth is me, truth is humanity, truth is everything in the world, but that also means we are truth too. That without us, the universe wouldn't function as well. So how can you contain that? You can't. And I think that's what we're seeing, is that not even the father can contain that. And he needs more and more philosopher's stones. But what happens when that power eventually drains? Truth is going to get out. But I think truth is still this neutral figure. And I think it's only in an equivalent exchange scenario that Truth's going to get involved. But I think there will maybe be a punishment for the father, because I feel like what they have sacrificed in exchange for opening that door isn't a fair exchange, or maybe Truth doesn't see it as equivalent. I'm not sure, but I feel like Truth may have some choice words for the father if they ever meet, because again, the father is just counter to everything that Truth is striving for, is gatekeeping. So it's going to be very interesting if we see an interaction between Truth and the father, which is going to have to happen because he's consumed him. And I think they both might end up in the doorway in terms of Ed and the father, because I think Ed's going to sacrifice his alchemy to bring Al's body back, and that's going to bring them into this liminal space. But if he does it while Truth is still within the father's body, that might then bring the father as well, because Truth hasn't left him. So I don't know if that's how the father is going to end up there too, but we'll have to wait and see. I can't cope with how much I'm going to cry at the next couple of episodes. It's insane. I'm still convinced Hohenheim's dying and that he's not going to have this happy ending. I hope he does. I really want him to have a happy ending. And we have 2 more episodes left. So I'm kind of like fingers crossed that I'm wrong and Hohenheim does live. But I just feel like if the Philosopher's Stones that the father and Hohenheim have are destroyed, then Hohenheim's also going to die in the process, because they're connected. They are blood brothers. So I think without one, the other cannot live. And that's my fear, is Hohenheim is going to die. Ooh! It was so cruel that the little baby touching Azumi after she lost a child. Like, oh, that why? This show is so painful at times. I think that's all I want to say for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!